I'm the resident city commissioner of Mbale, and really I have to accept that there have been challenges in security that have been taking place in the city of recent, and yet at the background earlier on, and even the beginning of the year, the situation in Mbale had gone under control, and we even crossed the year without any much problems. Most of our cells also remain vacant without any suspects arrested between that period of 25th up to even the 15th of January. There was nothing that happened. But of recent, there are certain things which have come out, especially the people who are wearing pangas and machetes, uh, cutting people, strangling people, and doing all sorts of inconveniences for the public. And this has happened especially just from the eve of the Easter. As we go through the holy month of Ramadan, we are witnessing this kind of situation, which is very, very, I call it very unfortunate. The most recent is on the 6th, when one of our citizens here called Abat Mulwisha, that is the name I get, who has been the director of a UK-based NGO, and he was a resident of Namakwe. Some people came around and got this man, he had been in the neighborhood after checking his home and he was not there. So I think they realized that he was coming from the neighborhood. These people attacked this man in the middle of the road and cut him. The good thing about the death of Abbott is that, according to those who were near to where he was crying, making his final touches with his life, he was crying in the names of some people. Which names we have them, and I'm not going to disclose to the public because the police has already taken the incident and is investigating. But up to this moment, what I'm being informed, we are getting round the clock to make sure that those people are arrested, those who kill the, the social worker. We have also heard of other incidences like what happens in Namatala. There are quite a number of issues that happen in Namatala. In Namatala, I was there last week again also, around Tuesday, that's about the 4th. We had a function that was taking place around what they call, there is a child center, feeding center, which is under Namatala, where they say, they call it what? Safety child, loved. They call it loved child center. And we discussed and realized that while that place is good for those development partners who have come around to assist the victims of malnutrition in that part of our city, there is also a center of rogosim, I would call it rogosim, where there are so many ninja groups, I could call them also. Those are the terms they use there. People who are terrorizing the area. And yet, in that place, there is also a police post. We realize that there are people who beat up people in the evenings. Then there are very many people who are drunkards in that area. And then there are very many other people also who take a lot of alcohol. You intoxicate yourself with a lot of all these foreign bodies, waragi, marua. Then you have njaga, you have weed. All this is taking place in that place. And then there are people who shout up the whole night, making a lot of noise, and therefore inconveniencing even those who want to rest, and making also the place uh, so vulnerable to those who have come to do something bad because there is already noise in the neighborhood. So neighbors cannot hear what is happening within themselves. There are people who steal animals around Namatala and other places like even Nawuyo, Mumtoto. I have got reports that there are people who steal other people's animals, and that is hurting the fight against poverty at household level. So the issues that have been happening of recent, we have had critical security meetings to make sure that we sort out these matters. And on the 30th, we had a meeting, and then of recent also we have had one meeting on the on Wednesday, the 5th. We had one city security meeting here in my office with the security intelligence officers to look at the issues which are now invading the town and making it really very dirty in terms of socialization and recreation. And what we realized was that there are some of the issues when we discuss in the meetings, other people are not implementing them accurately and in time. For example, we resolved the matter of patrols, joined foot patrols by the police and the sister agencies like the UPDF. We have the UPDF in Bugema, Army Barracks. We have instructed them to carry foot patrols here. But we still see there is a problem because this is what we discussed on the 5th. And on the 6th, they kill our brother Abat. We also said there must be spot check ambushes where those who are on patrol in all the divisions must have checkpoints in dark spots because already we mapped out the dark spots in this city. One of the areas we have is around Doko. We have around Mbale SS, all that area, that's where most of the activities take place. Mbale SS is now substituting the Mbale Stadium and within the stadium. So there are quite a number of activities that take place there. And there are many unemployed youth and drunkard youth and intoxicated youth by all types of additives. They are around those areas. Then you move around Namakwekwe, around Nakaloke, even Kolonyi has also come on spot where we have all these dark areas. We realize that most of the people who are there are not really well monitored. The third issue we realized was that although we have been having intensive intelligence meetings, but our intelligence staff, that is the GISOs and the contact persons, we have the PISOs, we call them contact persons, are not doing the work very well. Either they are being compromised or they need refresher courses so that they can do their work. In the LC system, the LC ones are also supposed to be, as much as they are judges, they represent the judiciary at that level. They are also military intelligence, where we expect every village must be knowing how it runs its activities and support also people who are trouble causers and drunkards and doing all these things. And this is what we saw when I worked in Kumi. There are these people, they call them their helicopter, but they are also behaving like this one of Mbale. Those ones, until intelligence spotted all of them, profiled them, mapped their areas, and we dealt with them, especially with the leaders. The same is here. We need to work with the intelligence to make sure that we map these areas where there are problems. And let us use the LC ones to get the people who are in their wards, who are suspects. It is good to have the register of these suspects. Then the other problem also we found out that in order for us to help the society, if the LC ones are not working, we also did it in Busia and found that there's what we call Manyumba Kumi system, where you count 10 houses or 10 doors, within them you elect one person who will be responsible of a night. And then you give also these people some skills. Some of the skills you can give people to take on their own security is, for example, ensuring that all of them have whistles. All of them must have, for example, a flute. Or all of them have a drum. Because all these things work in the country. You use a drum when you're in Uganda. You can use a flute when you're in northern Uganda. You can use a whistle anywhere. So at night, if you tell when there is suspect of intrusion or invasion by wrong people, or when there is an alarm, instead of running even out, you blow the whistle or you drum, so that now the police will come in. We also realize that we must take our police on their aid seriously. We have resolved with the RTC that as much as the manpower of the police is thin, but it is not an excuse that they cannot move around and dominate. In security, what is important is you dominate the environment, dominate the atmosphere, so that you are able to move and control the situation which is taking place. We also want to ensure that we get our LCs and they start to register newcomers. Some of these incidences we have realized is that some of the people are victims of situations from where they either working or where they are coming from. So now these suspects have started following up people when you go out of a certain situation where you are in charge of your own security and you move maybe for for bigger functions, you go for holidays to your remote village. These wrong people track you and follow you up there. And then you find you're in a problem. Then lastly, to manage this situation is to work with the people. I believe personally that if all the people take up security upon themselves and share the information, we shall be able to be on top of this kind of scenario. We need to have everybody be responsible by at least reporting. Report to the nearest unit, the nearest person. And then also the leaders, they must give their numbers freely and be available to the people. Certain situations that happen, people make an alarm, they make even a call, but somebody refuses to get a phone. Otherwise, we have the manpower to contain my city. It is only the commitment that some of the people who are on ground are making. What my office is doing is to ensure that we coordinate and patronize on all these people who are supposed to implement law and order in our society. I have to continue having meetings, and where there are weaknesses, we make recommendations to the appointing authority for change of order, change of leadership in the system, so that we don't institutionalize the problem that is happening here. And they say it is the police. No, there are certain individuals who are not doing their work, and we want to run up that. Yeah.